Okay, so it looks like after a couple stumbles, we may be actually pulling off a show tonight. Thank you guys again for being patient while we get our new system up to speed. Coming up in just about 9 minutes, we're going to go live with this week's episode of Shop Talk. Great guest tonight with Warren Lane. Can't wait to talk to him about what he's been working on. One of the most interesting and intelligent cats that I've met throughout the motorcycle industry. Stick around just 9 minutes. We're going live. Just about 7 minutes away from starting this episode of Shop Talk. God, new system, new week, everything's crazy. New Zealand in the house. What's up? Rudy from New Hampshire. Tim Kearns. No, it's not Sunday. It's Blur's Day. This 57th of April. Welcome to another episode of Shop Talk on Blur's Day. Cincinnati, Ohio in the house. Poppy's here. What's up, Poppy? No kidding. Jason Sims checking in from Crazy. Yeah, I got you, bro. Oh, what the hell, we're a little late, so we can probably start a little early. You guys are piling in. It's great to see you. Thanks for tuning in tonight and being patient with us through our testing on our new system. Florida in the house. North Jersey, trucking from Marengo. What's up, baby? $150 from Missouri. Amen. Oh, 51.50. It looks like a dollar sign to me. I don't know. What's up? All right, so let's get this party started. a.k.a. Scooter Tramps and Chopper Jockeys. It's just after 9 p.m. on Blur's Day, the 57th of April, and the COVID virus has us stuck inside still, but we're not letting us get us down. We're going to talk some motorcycles here for the next 90 to 120 minutes. I'm Chris Callen. I'm going to be your host here on Shop Talk tonight, coming to you live from the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio. Appreciate you guys being patient and hanging out with us and putting up with the disaster that was last night's show. But we're here, we're live, we're ready to go. There's something better to do than watch the 24-hour news cycle. I am down for that, and obviously joined by my cohorts in crime. What's up, crew?
Hiya.
Hey.
Everybody in the studio tonight. It's so good. It's like having family back together. You guys are awesome.
I don't know. I finished Netflix. I don't know about the 24-hour news cycle, but like finished Netflix. There's nothing left to watch.
And I've given up on the news.
Yeah, no
Can't
shit.
believe a damn thing they're saying anyway.
So great show tonight, right?
I'm very excited about tonight.
Man, Warren has been long one of my heroes in motorcycling, not just for the fact that he's an incredible builder, because his talent is really unparalleled. You know, there's guys you think about like Warren Lane and Aaron Green and Will Ramsey, who are just, you know, at the absolute top of what they do. And that's one part of him, but you know, he's quite an accomplished intellectual. Like his depth goes way past motorcycles, so it's going to be a great talk.
His skills are so diverse. It's incredible. I'm really looking forward to that.
He's a super unique guy, that's for sure.
Rob finished the internet.
Come on now. Listen, I was going straight in the gutter with that. Let me just kick it over to Blondie. We're going to say hi to some social media peeps. Who do we got tonight?
Oh, let's see. We have Jeremy Valentine from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Rich Batoniak from Massachusetts. Walter Curo. Rob Nussbaum. Lance Baxter. Dale Bradley from Spring Hill, Florida. Edward Justiano. Warren Lane, he builds badass bikes, very talented. Bug Killer's in the house.
What's up,
Bug
John?
Killer, we still haven't had ice cream. Tony, Boston in the house, right on my home sweet home.
I like everybody that's saying that they quit watching the news years ago.
Right. Dennis Mason, he's related to Mason Racing, the hill climbers that we
Oh,
had
no
the pleasure.
kidding.
Actually, hill climbers / mini bike annihilators.
Mason Racing.
Right. London, Ontario, Canada, Indiana.
Greg White, some of our Texas brethren.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Jeff Davis, I miss Good Time Charlie. We do too, Jeff, big time. He was a good man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And if this is the first time you're hearing that sad news, the motorcycle culture and industry lost one of our greats, Good Time Charlie Brechtel, host of the Bikers Inner Circle, the Charlie Brechtel Show, the Charlie Brechtel Band. Before any of us were doing anything in the digital world, Charlie was walking around with a phone, interviewing people, and putting that shit on internet radio. And man, like, there will be no replacing the spot that he held in this culture.
He was an innovator, that's for sure.
Yep.
No, let's see. Puerto Rico. Steve Broyles is here.
Bobby.
Drew Woodford. A couple New Hampshire people. My
Kegs
home
in the
is
house?
checking in.
Right on. All right, man. Well, let's get to it. Like I said, this is a little thing we do every Sunday normally, when it's not Blur's Day and when we're not wrestling with a new computer system.
Nobody knows
Well, now
what
I
day
can
it
say
is.
it's
You
Monday.
didn't have to tell
Right.
them.
They're
And
all
I
Mondays.
deleted all the videos,
But-
so they wouldn't have known.
This is a little thing we do, 90 to 120 minutes, all the bullshit we can fit, some entertainment, some good talk about motorcycles, take you out of your own mind for a little bit. And every week we start off with a little thing we call the news. First up in the news tonight, Harley-Davidson makes acting CEO permanent as company shifts directions. You guys have been hearing us report about this, that the interim guy who took over after Levitich stepped down. Harley-Davidson acting chief executive officer will take over the job permanently as the company rewires, and they use that on purpose, its strategic plan and attempts to pull out a 5-year sales slump. John Zeitz, chairman of Harley-Davidson's board and former CEO of sporting goods manufacturer Puma, has been interim CEO at Harley-Davidson since February, when Matt Levitich left following the company's worst sales performance in the last 6 years. Over
16.
the next 16. Oh, wow.
he
I'm
was-
just blowing it tonight already.
I'll handle the numbers.
He was trying to be nice, that's all.
I just want to get to the good part of this story.
What that they're that they're like
The next story.
The only thing is the new CEO does have a background as being a rebuilder. He takes companies, or he's got a history of being able to revive and rejuvenate failing companies. So maybe Harley Davidson will be fortunate enough to have him grace them with some of that rejuvenation.
Yeah, but like
I don't know.
there's been too many changes recently. It's
Right.
like it's
I'm trying to
instability.
think. My Jiminy Cricket is working right now. Come on.
But one of the things, like I've been watching a lot of the financial reports and stuff about, I guess there was a little blip in their stock and stuff, but they're going back. Like I thought after Levittich left and they did the thing with the Softail standard, I thought we were going to see a rejuvenation of their direction for core, and it seems like immediately they went back to hanging a lot on electric bicycles, electric motorcycles, and I know, unarguably that may be the future someday, but right now I think it would do them well to get a good old stiff dose of the core.
Oh, and that's what you'd figure too. I mean, you're like you just said, someday it would be a good move for the future, but you got to worry about tomorrow, especially after what just happened. If
Right.
you don't worry about tomorrow, you might be in some big trouble come someday.
Yep.
I mean, as sad as it is to say, it would be nice for them to, get a grip here. They're making too many changes.
Come someday or come blur day.
Blur day.
Blur day.
Well,
Blur
blur
day.
day.
All right, next story. Next story up in the news. Aprilia Motorcycles join others in brake recall issue. This is coming in from our friends at the Brake Report. The source is from that National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. I like to say that as much as I can because it took me years and years to be able to put all those words together without a blur.
Oh, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. So New York. Piaggio has agreed with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration to recall certain models of its Aprilia motorcycles due to potential front brake issues, thus joining two other manufacturers who also use brakes supplied by Brembo. Recently, Triumph and Ducati agreed to recall its motorcycles when equipped with front brake pads, which might separate from their backing plates due to corrosion.
I feel bad for Brembo.
Yeah,
That's
right.
going to be a nightmare for them right now. Across
Especially
3
too
brands.
because Brembo's like the standard in brakes,
Right.
man.
Yeah.
You know what a black eye that presents for them. That's
I
terrible.
know.
Well, maybe they should just listen to us and go to just rear brakes.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey,
One
if you
less
did-
brake,
if you
one
did-
less
If
failure.
you didn't have the front brake, wouldn't have to worry about it.
Tennessee in the house. What's up, Tennessee? They need to use the retro ideas the automakers used. Yeah, right?
Is this Dave Nichols, like Pirate Dave Nichols?
No.
Pirate.
Dave Nichols, we need to get you back on this show.
Yes.
He's a blast, man.
Brakes are for quitters.
All right, this is some uplifting news because everybody's wondering whether or not Sturgis is actually going to be going on, and there's big questions about which events and what and how's it going to be, and give it up for the Buffalo Chip, right? Moving full steam ahead.
Pro boxing. Now wait a minute. Just so you know, did you happen to catch the date it's on?
What date is that?
It's August 8th. Do you know who their guest fighters are going to be?
Oh, Conor McGregor.
No. I figured it would be us. That's our anniversary. I figured they were going to throw
Sweet
you and I in the ring.
Oh, Jesus.
Come on.
Conor McGregor would be the second best bill on that. But from Bikers to Boxers, a partnership between a biker-run boxing team and the world's largest motorcycle music festival will deliver high-impact entertainment this August during the 80th anniversary of the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. Team Certified Promotions and the Sturgis Buffalo Chip have teamed up to present the Takeover professional boxing event on August 8th at the legendary Buffalo Chip. This historic professional boxing event will feature 2 ABO title bouts and will be broadcast live worldwide through Adversary Sports Entertainment. What happened to just like Wide World of Sports, man? Come on. Directly from Sturgis Buffalo Chip. So this is something we talked about for a long time. Like we were actually back in the days of the Limp Nicky Luck.
Yeah.
Mark, you remember?
Oh, yeah.
We were talking about doing tough man contests and like what a perfect setting for this
Yeah.
though. And I mean Harley Davidson's well known that for quite a while with all of their work with the UFC.
Yeah.
MMA?
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go. I got to put it together. My brain is fried, dude.
Too many hours in front of the computer.
Yep. That's what I'm calling it.
But I think it's going to be fun. They're
I do
opening.
too.
That's the headline. That's like the opener for Shinedown. Like,
Oh,
talk
no
about
shit.
thinking outside of the box, having a like boxing match before a band. I'd like to go. We could spend that day
on
that
top
way.
of firing the crowd up. I mean, how much more? What more can you fire a crowd up with than boxing? In all reality,
So on to some more news. Here's a sad piece, man, and yet still we're gonna have a good laugh. I know, because Mark and I have a story to share about this. But former Bad Company lead singer Brian Howey dies at 66. We thought something was up because he was supposed to be in Daytona with all of us this year, and he canceled on that show. Sad day for rock and roll music, though, man. He died of cardiac arrest in his Florida home Tuesday morning. He was 66. He is known as both the former lead singer of UK supergroup Bad Company and vocalist for Ted Nugent. Howe's death was confirmed by his manager, Paul Easton, in a statement to The Wrap, where he said, "It's with deep and profound sadness that we announce the untimely passing of a loving father, friend, and musical icon, Brian Howe." Tell you what Brian didn't like, though. That was people doing burnouts while he was doing a set.
not at all. He was very upset.
Oh, my goodness.
I think he even got madder when everybody said, "Hey, man, it's a bike event, not a music event." That really pissed him off.
That was in New Orleans, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
I'll
then
never
you
forget
yelled at us too, remember?
Yeah.
Which wasn't abnormal.
I
but
think
that
I
was
spent
like-
my first 5 years of knowing you just yelling at you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, buddy.
Oh,
Hey,
seriously.
well, we did. We had a nice dinner that night, though. Then
We
you
did.
yelled.
Yes, then I yelled. So, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention this, and I'm sorry I didn't give you a link. We have to note the passing of Little Richard. He passed this week as
Yes.
well. So
And Stiller, Ben Stiller's dead.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that this
Yeah.
morning. Very upsetting. It's just Serenity now.
People are already
Christ,
taking
Mark.
bets on who's going to win our boxing match, and their money's on me, just so you
boy.
know.
Oh, boy.
That's because she fights dirty. Mark, Stiller dying is like you losing a member of your
Dude,
family.
I'm telling you right now, Serenity now. I'm telling you, the man, bro man. You know, I mean, I got a bunch of them.
Hey, you can keep all that shit. It's Festivus for the rest of us.
That's right.
Time
Yeah,
to air our grievances, baby.
There was a guy there that lived life. I mean, in all reality, look at the three of them. I mean, they Little Richard. I mean, what more could he have done?
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? Bad Company killed it forever. You know, that guy had a great career, and it's sad to see them go. But in all reality, you can look back. There's a lot of history right there. You know, a lot of good music, a lot of good entertainment come out of those three.
Steve Broles is asking, do you ever go to a concert and a motorcycle rally broke out? Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
We've actually made a few.
Yep.
Yeah. Good
All
que-
right.
I like his questions. He always has good questions.
We
Right.
should have him on again.
Yeah, he's fun.
I love talking to Steve.
Back to the news, you two.
Chris, wear a cup.
So, yeah, that's what I'm
I
talking
don't
about.
fight that dirty. Oh no.
So the event hoorahs keep coming in, some good, some bad. Myrtle Beach has been back and forth, and Horry County has decided to approve the new dates for Myrtle Beach Bike Week.
Yes, July 13th through 20th, I believe. Or
19th.
I was close.
Yeah, it was.
I wasn't
was.
even reading it.
Well, the
They're all
party
Mondays.
always lasts for you a couple extra days. That's what I like about you, kid. You keep it rocking. Horry County Emergency Management Director Randy Webster said that there was a consensus from organizers on a July rally, but the Myrtle Beach Chamber of Commerce was not in support. Council members Tyler Severant made a one-time exemption for special permits after speaking with Myrtle Beach Harley Davidson, saying, "Our businesses are hurting now." Yeah, brother, all around the place. Myrtle Beach Harley said they are not advertising for a rally, but an open house, according to Severant. Webster also said he doesn't believe they're in a position to turn tourists away. This is, this comes in from Channel 12 News, and we appreciate the heads up on this story. But this is the big question, man. I mean, as you hear about all of this, and people are heeding the words of the government and the doctors that are on TV with the president all the time, and they're talking about what's the best thing to do, what's the responsible thing to do. But one thing that you can't deny is one way or another, somebody's got to start making some money.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah, economy's having some issues.
we're taking an ass whooping out here, all of us. So
Just so you know, Mark, I got dibs on you.
What?
Drew said it should be a tag team match, and you get to pick your teammates. I'm picking Mark. I know better.
that's fine. You can both kiss my ass. I'm gonna take Amelia. I'm gonna take Amelia, and I'll give you 2 reasons why.
Oh boy.
You'll be too much of a mummy to smack her.
Oh, no, I won't.
Oh yeah, you will. You will when
Well,
push
I know-
comes to shove.
I know I'll
and
let
she'll pull
Amelia
out.
beat me up.
She'll pull a knife. She's a cutter. She's a cutter. I'm gonna tell you right now.
I'd let Amelia go on that one. But I still, if it's me and Heather and
Hey.
whoever, I got you beat.
Look at that.
Yeah, we're in.
Larry Moore, we have announcements soon on the new date for the Chill Show. Dude, tell us about it and we'll get it straight up here for you.
Yes,
very
yes.
happy to support any of the good business going on.
So excited to announce events that are happening. I'm very excited. We need more of those rather than more that are getting canceled.
You know, and you have to question a little bit on the grounds of, you know, the events coming back, people announcing. I mean, is anybody concerned about it? You know what I mean? Like, in all reality, safety first. They're still talking about the social distancing. I mean, none of us are going to social distance.
Hey, you know what, though? I'm going to tell you something. I'm not going to say the name of this person.
Me.
I'm not going to say the name of this person because I don't want to throw him under the bus, but somebody that's very close to us in a conversation with me just the other day, and this is just to explain the divisive nature of this whole issue. Just in a conversation the other day, explained to me that if they announce that Sturgis is 100% full steam ahead over the next month, he doesn't know if he'll go or not. And this is somebody that works in the business.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because, you know, just the unsuredness, you know, the fact that he has an elderly parent himself, you know, and like...
I think for me, I'm not worried, honestly, and this may be uneducated of me or just wishful thinking. I don't know that I'm worried about my health and my safety. I'm more worried, I think, from the business standpoint of it, of the people that are going to take the risk and put their businesses on the line and have potential catastrophic failure.
Well,
that's what worries me.
Hey, Stephen Panko, Bob Price from Hazleton, PA, passed in a bike wreck. I want to tell you something I'm not to say. I don't know that I knew Bob for sure. Most of the people I only know by nicknames. It's a curse of our culture, but our hearts and prayers go out to his family, man. The Hideaway in Cave Creek is open.
Yeah, see?
Rob Nussbaum. Listen, let me take 2 seconds here. Do you guys mind?
No.
Rob, I owe you so much just for talking me off the ledge over the last 48 hours. Thank you so much. Rob has been helping around the clock.
On the other hand, I want to kill you now.
Yeah. But
now?
Well, I mean,
Come on, Mark.
We were almost out, Heather. Who are you kidding?
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
thanks,
a fight.
Rob.
There's a fight
Thanks a
brewing.
lot.
There's a fight brewing. And now I got good, clear cameras, so when you walk around with that black eye, everybody can see it, and they'll know why, because they watch the show.
Yeah, real happy. We had 3 hours of makeup before this.
Please.
Oh my goodness. So, Heather, why don't we talk about some of the events that are going on that people can actually catch up with us at?
So we had Craig Seacher on from Reality's Ride last week, and if you didn't catch that show, please go back and watch it. They do some of the most amazing work for the youth of our country through their foundation. Typically, they hold the world's largest biker run every year on Memorial Day weekend, but thanks to the Rona, their plans have changed and they've switched it up.
Their plans have changed? You're doing as good as me tonight, Blondie. That's awesome.
Oh, their plans have changed, and they are now doing a no boundaries reality ride, which means you can ride from anywhere you are at in the world and help save a few kids in the process. Please go to realitysforchildren.com, sign up to register. You'll get a free t-shirt and some other cool swag, but more than anything, you'll be helping a kid that can't help themselves.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what really hit home about that when Craig was on here and talking about the fact that the needs are amplified now, you know, in opposition of how you might think that, you know, everybody's safe at home. Not necessarily everyone is safe at home.
I think
Not
some
everyone.
of those kids are way more at risk now that they're home. So, but anyway, realitysforchildren.com, and throw a few bucks their way. After that, we actually get to go to an event. It's going to be our first event of the year, unfortunately, but I'm glad we get to go to it, is Gettysburg Bike Week, July 9th through 12th.
And it's a close one.
And it's a close one.
Yeah.
And so we get to do a bike show there. We're going to be doing mini bike drag races and mini bike oval tracks. So you get to go to a cool
Jasmine's
event.
playing.
You get Jasmine Kane, Small Town Titans,
Atomic
Hinder.
Punks.
Vixen. I remember
Hey,
Vixen.
I haven't seen a guy in some
Spandex
metal
on top
flake
line
spandex.
spandex?
Yeah, I
Nice.
haven't. I'm done. I'm ready.
I'm ready to throw down.
The great
So-
thing is you can't really tell them apart from Vixen,
It's a thought that comes.
except the fat guy on the bass. See, this is what the problem with being the bass player is.
But here we go again.
Oh man.
So yeah, it's a cool event. We'll be there. The dogs will be there because we know that's actually really who you want to see is the
Dude, I'm
dogs.
telling you, we seriously need to start charging $1 a pat, and then you donate it to the kids or something.
Oh, I dig that.
Yeah, that's a do the kissing booth with the dogs.
Yeah.
Donate the money to the.
I could do that. I could get behind that. Vixen.
I know at one
Petoniak,
point
Vixen
in
was hot.
Sturgis, the dogs were probably the bigger hit than anything else we did.
I had to when those poor puppies had to have potty breaks. I had to tell people they'll be back in
Yeah.
a few minutes.
Yep.
They'll be back. We should.
Yeah,
have
we
done-
thought
they
people
need
were
an
coming up to the
appearance fee.
stage, ask us questions on grease and gears, and they're like, "Can we pet the dog?" Like, really, dude?
I thought that was code for some weird shit. You know what I mean? Like, I guess so. Go around back so
okay.
nobody sees you, but have at it, brah.
But even better, like we'd be on break, and these like big grown ass men would be laying on stage
Yeah,
with
doing
our
the
two bulldogs.
give me the baby.
I'm like, really, dude? They didn't care. They just wanted the dogs to drool on them.
Dude, Brian Butera was lulled into a coma.
Yeah.
Mr. Smalls knocked him down and had his way with him.
Yep.
Ding dong.
All right, right on. So it's just about time for us to bring up our first guest, our only guest tonight.
A good guess, though.
I'm gonna switch over to Heather so she can tell you about him a little bit while I get things set up. We can bring him in the house.
So Warren Lane, I've learned more about Warren in the past couple days just from communicating back and forth about the show than I have in the several years that I've known him. He is so multifaceted and diverse in his abilities. It's astounding. So I knew him from the motorcycle aspect of it. I didn't know what he did with aircraft and furniture and metal sculpting. It was truly amazing to be able to dig a little bit deeper through the internet and some of the images he sent us. So
Very talented.
yeah, it's ridiculous. So I'm glad we get to bring him on here and talk to him a little bit.
Warren, how you doing, man?
I'm well. How about you guys?
Fantastic. Dude, listen, right off the bat, I just have to say thank you for your patience. Yeah, I've had a hell of a 48 hours here, man, and you were just so cool about it, and I appreciate you coming back on tonight and giving us a chance to rap with you.
Sure, man.
So, dude, I seriously put you at the top of this thing, at the top of the fabrication and the industry that's behind the industry type minds that make this shit happen. You and Aaron Green and guys like Will Ramsey, and I mean, you know so much about this. It really becomes a science for you guys. I have so much mad respect for that.
Thanks. I really only know a little bit. I'm learning all the time.
And that's exactly what makes people like you so awesome. You don't you're so fascinating in every direction you turn. You're so talented, and then whenever you say, "Hey, dude, you're so talented," you're like, "Oh, I'm learning."
Yeah,
and that's
right.
cool. You don't like throw it out there. It doesn't go to your head. For all these years, it's never gone to your head. That's what makes you
Yeah,
so
you're
awesome.
you're great to be around
Yeah.
too. It's awesome.
Thank you. Oh,
So let's talk.
yeah. Well, I really don't think that I know it all. I just try to learn a little more every day, and I invent some things myself, but I don't really learn it at all. I have to watch and see what other people do and look on YouTube just like everybody else. I want to learn. I want to be the best.
Dude, and that's a great philosophy to follow. And seriously, like even in your own videos, the other day I was watching you were fixing a transmission cover, and
Yeah.
I was watching the way that you made the insert to weld up against of a dissimilar metal, so that you could weld against it and still have it slip out at the end, and it's just cool. It's cool to watch the way your mind works. It's bitching.
I learned that. I used to work for a frame manufacturer, Sundance Frames. He was in Cocoa Beach, and he showed me we used to make frames for Road Kings, and he would weld the backbone on it, and that's how he would do it. We'll put it over an aluminum block, and then welded the whole backbone to form it, and that's how he taught.
Right on.
I lost you. I can't hear you anymore.
No, here it is. So let's talk for a minute because I want to get a little bit of your history for people who haven't followed you. Tell me where this stuff begins for you. Where do you start actually working on what cars, bikes? Is it from such a young age, or where did you get into it?
Yeah, man, bicycles. I guess that's bicycles and skateboards. And when I was a kid, I lived in the same house my whole life, and my house used to be in the country. Now Miami kind of grew up around it, but there was a little dead end neighborhood, and there was a dump, and we used to go and talk to guys into giving us parts from the bicycles to let us build bicycles.
Yeah,
We didn't have. I didn't grow up rich. We weren't poor, but I didn't have. We wasn't rich. My parents didn't have money to buy me a new bicycle and stuff like that. So you had to work or you had to make it.
yeah. That was we
And,
we've
and
we've talked about this before. That one of our early tricks was taking a second set of front forks and cutting the tops off of them and jamming them into the forks of your bike, and you could come up with a chopper real quick, a chopper bicycle.
And that worked out well just before it impaled your leg.
Yeah.
So, and it's happened
yeah, I was
multiple
born in
times.
Texas. Yeah, I was in the BMX like the first time it came around in the '70s, and that's I did that, and then later on, and then I had a mini bike and a go kart, and I traded something. I don't know what I traded for. I think I traded a skateboard for a go kart and a edger engine that was seized up. My dad showed me how to beat the piston out with a wood block, and then down the street there was a hardware store, and they sold Briggs and Stratton parts. So I went and bought a brand new piston for $6 and fixed it up. And then I was in, I guess, seventh grade. We had in my shop class, they used to have small engine repair, but they didn't do it anymore. So they had upstairs, they had all these small engine parts, and the guy used to go up there. The teacher used to let me go up there and grab whatever I wanted, so I could soup up my go kart and stuff with bigger carburetors,
Right on.
stuff like that.
Yeah,
So I guess that's where I started.
Yeah, the shop teacher was my downfall also. Mr. McDowell, never forget that guy. He started the whole downward spiral.
Do you
Yeah.
remember what
Well,
your
they
first?
didn't. Go
Sorry, go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, the shops they didn't have mechanical. Well, they didn't have the small engine repair anymore. That was in my junior high, so it was retired, but the stuff was still upstairs. We had wood shop, and I had graphic arts, and then in high school I had metal shop, but that was the last year they had that. I never took auto shop or anything.
Well, I want to go back for a second. You were talking about being in BMX when the first time they came around. What was your did you ever have your dream BMX bike from that time, or what was
No,
it?
I couldn't afford. Yeah, well, I had a red line.
I had a
I had a
red
red
line.
line.
Dig it.
Yeah, I had a white red line with red alloy wheels. I
Yeah.
built that from parts for trading stuff here and there with my kids. I was never, I never had a brand new bike. I had to make what I wanted. So we used to have swap meets at the drive-in, and there was a guy that sold new bicycle parts,
Yeah.
and you would save up by cutting grass and stuff to buy the wheels for it, and the handlebars and all the stuff. I built it myself.
Yeah. That was the cool day for bikes and skateboards, man.
And then I really learned a lot when I was into muscle cars when I got my first car when I was 15. I bought it for $200. I bought a '65 Mustang, and I sold it real quick for $400. That was a lot of money for me back then. And then when I turned 16, I had a '69 Cutlass convertible, and that was all right car, but I didn't really like it. And then I got detention one day, and I was walking home from school, and the fastest car in my school was a '71 Z28 with a big block in it. And I saw it on the way home from my school. It was in the yard with the grass growing all up around it. And I asked the lady who was outside if she wanted to sell it. And she said, "Oh, it's my son's. I'll have him call you when he comes home." And he did call me. And it had a Ford top loader transmission, but it was a part in the trunk. So I convinced my dad to take me over there to look at it. And he said, "Well, that's great, but you don't have no job. How are you going to pay for it?" So I got on my bike, rode the Publix, and got a job as a bag boy.
Yeah.
Hated that job. Yeah. You had to wear shoes with lace-up shoes and a tie
Oh, I
and
know. I had
everything.
I had that job too. I hated
Hated
it.
the car, hated the job, loved the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't work there too long. And then my parents, both my parents worked for the airlines. My mom was a stewardess, and my dad was a crew scheduler. And that was before they had computers. So what he did was he scheduled the pilots and the flight attendants on their trips. So he was pretty popular because they all wanted to be friends with him so they could get the trips they wanted. And one of the stewardesses, her husband had a machine shop and auto parts, and he road raced a Camaro. in SCCA, and my dad got me a job there. It was in my neighborhood. I started off just taking apart engines and cleaning everything and labeling it, and then I ended up being an engine builder there before I quit.
What age
So
was
I
that?
learned. 16, I started working there. I probably quit when I was around 18 or 19.
Wow.
I learned a lot though. The guys, I'm still friends with him today. He taught me how to learn. Like he wouldn't give me answers to questions. He would
Yeah.
tell me, "You try to figure it out, and if you can't figure it out, I'll teach you."
Yeah, I had one of
You know,
them
I'll
at
tell
15
you.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, he taught me how to measure things in thousandths of an inch, and he was a crazy guy, but he was a fast road racer.
Yeah.
And so and that was in the 80s. There was a lot of drug money in Miami, and these guys would come in. We had a dyno and everything, and they would buy these 540 motors for their boats and stuff. There's a lot of crazy stuff. I mean, I was a kid. I didn't know anything, but I got to learn a lot and see stuff.
Right.
And that's a great time to learn that because you absorb that. Like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and muscle cars back then
Yeah.
you could buy them in people's yards with. They were just starting to get popular again, but
Yeah.
so you could drive around and buy them
and
for cheap.
yeah, I was gonna say, and they were cheap back then. That was the nice part about it.
Yeah, and there was a lot of them. And people were always bringing stuff in. We were pretty popular machine shop, so people were always bringing stuff to us. So I got to see and learn a lot of cool stuff.
So where did it start taking such a hard turn into motorcycles, man? Because you've had a hell of a presence in the motorcycle thing for a good 20 years now. I mean, solid, right?
Yeah. Well, after I sold that Z28, I had a Corvette, and I used to have a shop. I was really into Corvettes, and then I got my dad into Corvettes, and well, I sold a lot of Corvettes. I probably had a couple hundred Corvettes, about 63 to 72s,
Real.
and then I opened a Corvette. I moved to South Beach in 1989, and that's what South Beach was pretty. It was a ghetto. It wasn't like it is now. It was just beginning to get gentrified, and I got a warehouse real cheap, like 2 blocks from the ocean, and I moved there and I had a Corvette shop, and then Harleys were just getting real popular, and I wanted one. There was Softails what everybody wanted. I couldn't afford that, and I always liked old stuff because I've always been the old stuff. So had this kid to work for me. His dad was a FAA welder, and he told me his dad had a bike for sale, and I went and looked at it. It was this crazy chopper, and I loved it. And I bought it, and it was an Arlen Ness rigid frame with a shovel head in it, with a 3-inch belt drive and a Paco Springer and a centerline solid disc rear wheel. But it was built by this guy who was really talented machinist and welder. So I didn't really exactly know what I was getting myself into, but I liked it. That was my first Harley.
Huh.
And then later, my brother told me that he was talking to Arlen about it and telling him about it. And it had a 7/8 frame, 7/8 chromoly frame. And Arlen told him that those frames were only made for him personally. I don't know how I got it.
Yeah.
You almost felt like you stole something there, like you felt guilty.
Yeah, and then I've just always been the old things, and then that's where I started with. And I always liked choppers. When I remember once when we were kids, my parents were taking us somewhere. Your parents usually take the place on the highway and they pull over the roadside and have sandwiches and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we went into I don't know where we're going, probably see my grandparents or something. And we were on the side, went into one of those rest areas, and there was all these crazy, it must have been Bike Week at Daytona. And there was just these crazy hippies and metal flake motorcycles and noise everywhere. I mean, it looked to me like there was 1,000 up there. It was probably maybe 50, but
Yeah.
I was a little kid. I was probably, I don't know, maybe 10 years old. And I asked my parents. I remember we had a 66 Impala Super Sport. It was white with blue interior. I remember being in the car and asking my parents,
Dude,
man, what is that? What is that? Yeah, what is that? And my parents, I remember, don't look. And then my brother and I were just enamored with it. And I wanted one ever since then.
And just think the whole time you were in now a super desirable
the baddest car. Yeah, the baddest car ever.
Yep, most definitely.
Yeah, well, it was just a little small block Impala SS, but it was really nice. My dad, he bought it from a store. My dad always had old cars. That's probably where I got it. He's always had old cars.
We're big fans of the Impala here.
Dude, I have a 63 no pillar and it's put together, and dude, it's one of my favorite things. Love it.
Yeah. I had one of those. I had a 63. It was a 6-cylinder. It was a Impala 4-door, but I got it from the original owner. I bought it for $600, original paint. I used to drive that a lot when I was probably 18 or 19. I wrecked my Corvette, and my dad got that from somebody he worked with.
Right on.
It would go like 75, 80 miles an hour wide open.
Well, and it's fun. It's funny too that your story starts with old motorcycles because, for a lot of people that have watched you come through the modern chopper heyday and seen all the stuff that you built through all of that, and then they've seen you guys like this whole set. You and Billy and Paul and all these guys like kind of transferring over to the old bikes and the Sons of Speed racing. It's not really something new for you. It's just going back to where it was, right?
No, man, I've always had old bikes. I don't think I've owned a couple Evos, but I don't really like them. I mean, they were choppers,
Yeah.
but I like old motorcycles. I bought my first knucklehead. I bought in '93. I bought this Daytona swap meet from some outlaw from Ohio. He sold him a bunch of parts, and he told me I should go look at this bike, and I bought it. It was a nice running 47 knucklehead. It was jockey shifted, but it wasn't a ratchet top. It was 1, 2, 3 jockey shifted. And he told me, "Oh, go test ride it." I go, "No, man, I don't know how to ride that." Just go test ride it. I go, "No, man, if I wreck you, you're gonna kill me." "No, just go test ride it." And I rode up the road, and I bought it for $5,000. And I didn't know anything about knuckleheads.
$5,000 for a knucklehead.
Yeah, that was in like '93. There was no internet, internet was just out. Nobody wanted them.
Right?
Nobody wanted them.
Oh.
And there was no internet, so you had to figure out from a manual. And then I remember I took it apart, and I had this guy do a valve job on it. And I sent you the picture of that knucklehead chopper the other day, Heather.
Yeah, I think we might have it in the rotation here.
Yeah, I made it into that chopper. So when I took the cylinder heads apart and I took it to this guy who was a machinist, a real good Howey machinist, and I had him do a valve job on it. Well, knuckleheads, you set the valve guides up at like 6,000, real loose, and I didn't know that. He didn't know that, and he set them up tight like a Sportster, like 2,000. So you would ride it, and you would only get the certain distance every time, and it wouldn't seize up, but it would start popping. The valve guides would seize, and then it would cool off, and you'd be able to start riding again. I couldn't figure out what it was. Somebody gave me Pete Hill's number, and that's how I met Pete Hill.
Oh,
Pete Hill
yeah, dude.
He knew exactly what the problem was.
Isn't roadside?
You gotta make them guys 6,000s.
Isn't roadside going through that?
The book tells you 5,000. He goes, you gotta be 6,000.
Yeah.
Isn't Liberace going through that same problem right now?
I don't know.
Roadside.
Liberace. Yeah. I couldn't remember his last name. I just sent him his kicker cover today, and that's the name of Marty Liberace. Now he's calling me Cupcake.
Oh.
He calls everybody Cupcake.
Always got a comeback, doesn't he?
All right,
Yeah.
so we have a couple basic questions from Facebook that I want to ask before I forget. Johnny Page wants to know how many motorcycles that you own personally. Mike Draco wants to know if you know the whereabouts of that first motorcycle that you had. And
Go ahead. Go ahead.
The last question is Drew Woodford wants to know what's the fastest you've ever ridden on the beach?
On the beach?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever ridden on the beach.
Well, I think people think just because you're from Florida, you just ride on the beach.
You live
No,
too
they
blocks.
don't let you ride on the beach here. They're only doing Daytona, and you can only go 15 miles an hour.
So answer is 15
Hey,
miles an
I'm
hour.
just relaying the questions.
What do you want?
No,
The
I don't
guys
think
from
I've
the
ridden a
desert.
motorcycle on the beach ever. And then I only have 2 motorcycles. I have a chopper that I've had it for like 20 years, but I keep selling it. I've sold it 4 times. It keeps coming back.
You call it boomerang?
No, it's a hood ride. It used to be called I had a couple names. Right now it's called the hood ride. It has Pat Kennedy heads on it, or rocker boxes.
Right on.
Nice.
Dude,
I bought them off of-
we were just talking about Pat Kennedy. Somebody said that he's like doing real estate now or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I bought those rocker boxes off the ironcross.net when they first put it on. Some guy, he had them. He said, "I don't know what these are. They're all stripped out. They needed all kinds of work." I bought them with roller rockers and everything for $200.
Wow.
And I mean, I fixed them, but you needed somebody who really knew, had some common sense and machinist ability to make things work. And I really like it. Pat Kennedy's one of my biggest inspirations for the method of fabrications. I really look up to him. I'd like to meet him one day.
Yeah.
But I also look up to the way that he just went away from it all because the fame and all that stuff. I understand why he did that.
Yeah, right. What was your first machine? I'm curious because I'm just going on the path of starting to learn machining and stuff now, and I'm getting a real appreciation for the history of machining and machines in the United States, and how that whole thing has fallen our industrial evolution?
A lathe. A lathe. It's an Atlas. It's a home lathe. My great grandfather bought it brand new. Both my grandfathers on my mother's sides were machinists, and I think you don't think that really is genetic thing, but I think it's something that's passed on.
Yeah.
He taught me when I was a kid how to operate it. Like I used to really, they grew up, they were from Pennsylvania, in southern Pennsylvania, Chester County, or Boothwyn, which is right around exit 1 on I-95, Chichester around there. And I used to go up there in the summers, and I was into fishing and stuff when I was a kid, and fishing in the creeks and catching trout. And this other guy in the neighborhood taught me how to tie flies. And my grandfather taught me how to use the lathe so I could make the little tools to tie the flies.
Yeah.
And I have that lathe now. But when he died, nobody wanted all those tools, so I went up and got them all.
Right on.
So I still have that lathe. It's an Atlas lathe, which is made by South Bend.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's what my brother and I used when we started Choppers Inc. That's the lathe we used a lot. So you need a lathe, you need a bandsaw, a porta band will work good. You can put that in your vise, and a welder. With that, you can pretty much make a lot of stuff.
Okay, so you brought up the bandsaw. You got to help me out here with a little domestic issue. I'm trying to explain to Heather how much a dual bandsaw will change my life.
No.
Oh yeah, I would want
not-
to do all too, but I don't even have one. They're too expensive.
Yeah. Thank you, Warren.
Go buy yourself a cheap one, I have two 1940s Walker Turners.
Yeah.
I can take you out of the machine shop and show you the tools and stuff like that. I have all
That'd be
old
super
tools.
cool.
Yeah, man.
You
Anything.
figure out how to change, how to.
And I never deny you tools. You just need a bigger garage. So you build the bigger garage, you can have more tools.
She's just denying the money.
You're so hot.
No,
You're so hot.
he needs some more space.
All right, so now I'm right now in my AC spot. This is machine shop. It's hot. So,
Oh. He might be going away from his connection.
the kid, Choppers Inc. I think Nikki Boots welded up. You can't hear me? Hear me?
Yeah.
There you are.
You guys can't hear me?
Yep.
We can now. Yep.
You lost me? I don't know why.
Just for a second.
We got you
You
back.
lost the Wi-Fi one. Wait, let me put you. No, but Eileen says I'm on Wi-Fi, so I'm gonna go on the cellular. Can you hear me now still?
Yep.
Okay, let's see.
Just gotta turn your video back on.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. All right. How about now? You guys hear me?
We can hear you. We just can't see you. You turned your video off.
Can't see me.
There you
go.
are.
How about now? No.
Yep.
Okay. So now you can hear me and see me?
Yep.
That's just a launching hammer, and then this is the lathe I was telling you about. That was my great grandfather's, but it's not really old. I think he bought it in the 70s or 80s.
Yeah.
You can hear me?
Yep.
You can't hear me.
Yeah, well, we got
you. Can
you.
hear me?
We got
We
you.
got you.
All right. All right. And then here's a Walker Turner bandsaw. I got that one for $100 at a garage sale.
Oh,
There's another one I
dude.
bought for $300. So you can buy them. And those are both made in the 40s. This old stuff lasts forever.
Yeah,
There's
buddy.
another one I bought in the garage sale around the corner from my house for $25. A drill press.
$25.
See, he knows how to buy tools. You
Yeah,
need to
this
take
is-
tips from Warren.
This is my favorite. I bought this machine. It was ugly and full of junk when I bought it, but I didn't buy it. I traded a Corvette hood for it. And this is a Causing Colchester. This is a really good machine. I like it.
Yeah,
You
buddy.
should never do this. Leave that in there.
Right?
Yeah.
I can hear
This-
Daniel Donnelly's dad yelling at me.
Yeah. I get reprimanded by people on the internet for that. I rarely do it, but I did it again. And then this is my milling machine. It's still dirty from when I was doing all the kicker covers. That I paid a lot of money for. I bought that from.
What? Oh, man, look at that rotary table.
You have one of those,
No,
don't
I
you?
don't. I want one really bad.
And that's a 1940. When the economy went bad, I bought that for $100 at auction.
Wow.
This
I thought you got one with
Oh,
your milling machine.
no.
all these drill bits and all these tools at another auction. Yeah. So there's some collets, the hammer rack I made. So this is just junk.
Yeah, it's shocking how you can find those machine shops going out of business. They have auctions where you can find whole toolboxes full of bits and stuff really cheap.
Here's my tool I've been looking for 3 days.
What kind of mill is that?
It's an Enco, but it's a one that was made in Japan before they were made in China.
Yeah. We just got an Enco.
So it's an early
Yeah.
early
Yeah.
Enco.
Yeah, the early one. That's what this one is. It's better.
Yeah.
Has a belt up there. It works great. It has hardly any use. I'd like to have a Bridgeport, but this is what came my way, so that's what I got.
You know, I got my Enco from an old time machinist man who's like, his opinion really matters to me whenever it comes to stuff like this. And he said that those were some of the finest machines because they were the very first Bridgeport knockoffs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
they
that's
had such a high standard.
That's just someone else told me. I'm so happy I found my socket. You don't know. It's a 5/16 Allen socket. I've literally been looking for 3 days.
That's funny.
Glad we could help out.
Well, and you know, man, like to go back to guys like you and how, you know, what an inspiration you've been for a bunch of us over the years. When you look at the motorcycles that you've built, you can see in those, in the design capacity, that you've constantly challenged yourself. You know what I mean? You go way out of your way. When you did the tech article for us not too long ago, explaining how you do that, the rib frame, it was insane. Like, you can tell that it's not about the flash and the ego of something that you built, but it's the challenge of the
It's the
knowledge.
passion, yeah.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I make a living at this, but you don't really get rich. I do it because I like it. You know, I'm pretty good at it, but it pays the bills. I'd like to do lots of other things, but this is what I always have to go back to.
Yeah.
So I got a question. What's your favorite thing to do? I mean, I know you do bikes and you mess with cars and apparently planes and art and you make furniture and stuff. What's your favorite thing? If you could say this is the direction I'm heading in, what would you pick?
Well, the direction I'm heading in is more aircraft stuff. That's where I want to go. I've done pretty much what I want to do in the motorcycle industry.
Yeah.
I like creating and making things, and to get to a different place in this industry, you have to pretty much make yourself a celebrity and
Right.
merchandise off that. And I don't want to do that. I don't really have any interest in fame. I'd like to have the money, but I don't want the fame.
Right.
And aircraft, I'm really interested in that, and that's a whole different demographic. And I'm really interested in that, and that's where I'm going right now.
So we have to stop for just a second and tell the story about this, because in pre-show, Heather was telling me about your latest adventure with aircraft.
Well, you had sent the message that in 2016 you took 3 planes that had been parked for 20 plus years and got them running in a month. And these weren't just little planes. These weren't little Cessnas. They were giant. And
They're cargo airliners.
Yeah, and you flew them in 4 weeks' time to Miami. That's
Well,
crazy.
I didn't fly them. I
Well,
got the help to get
you
them.
got
It
them
wasn't. I
running.
didn't do it by myself. I was a member of a team. And,
How did you come to that knowledge? Did you go to school for that, or is it all hands-on?
No, I can fix things. I can make.
You're
I
just
know how-
you're
I don't
just
know.
gifted.
Yeah, it's a gift that God gave me. It's true. I know how things work, and they're just piston engines. And I've done it before. Previously, my friend, way back in like 90, I don't know, probably 98 or something, there was some aircraft in Polk at the museum, and Lufthansa had bought them, and they had 4 good engines on it. And this plane, they had bought 3 aircraft, and they had 4 engines on this one aircraft that was structurally no good. And he wanted me to go up there with him and take off the 4 engines and put on dummy engines for display. That's what I told him. I said, man, I don't know what I'm doing. He said, oh, you can do anything. He's a friend of mine for a long time. And he said, just come on, bring some tools and we'll do it. I did it.
Hey, that's the best way to learn,
That's
though. I mean, in all
crazy.
reality, you have a few mistakes and you learn from those mistakes.
No, you can't make mistakes with airplanes.
No.
Not on
No.
the put back together. You can't.
But
Yeah.
in this instance, it wasn't aircraft that were going to fly again. They had 4 good engines, and they wanted to remove the good engines because they were valuable and replace it with 4 timed out engines that were no good, just so the aircraft would look complete. So I learned a lot doing that. Then I went a couple other times doing similar things. He's a really good friend of mine. We've been friends for like 30 years, and he does like what I do with motorcycles, but he just does it with vintage aircraft. And he makes a living. They fly cargo out of the Bahamas every day. So I've been a couple other places, and then he told me he had these places, these aircraft in Arizona, and I kept following up with him because I pursued it. I wanted the job, and I went out there with 6 other guys, and we did it, or 6 guys total. And but those were military aircraft, and the military, they don't really have any budget. So when they take them offline, they preserve them, and they put oil in the carburetors and oil in the lines, and every
Yeah.
year they would do certain things and preservation, and they would make a checklist. And they got sold, and then they were parked, but they're parked in Arizona, and there's only 2% humidity, so nothing really goes. It doesn't corrode there. It just gets old. So it's kind of like and I had the same questions and inhibitions you guys do. Like when my friend asked me to do this, and you learn, it's just like a car in a junkyard. Well, they drove it to the accident,
Yeah.
So it was flying when they took it offline. So you just have to go out there, and everything is modular in systems. You just go through the systems. You replace all the rubber lines, you replace all the wheels and tires, and you just start going through and checking every system. And whatever needs to be replaced, you fix it, and then they fly. But they don't. They fly. They flew out of there into Miami with what's called a ferry permit, and that you have restrictions like they could only fly in the daytime, and they could only fly over land,
Yeah.
and then once they come to Miami, then you have to get a full FAA conformity inspection.
You
Which
make it
is
sound so easy.
Yeah, and it's
it,
so
it,
odd.
it
It's a
take,
difference. That was my first. I mean, otherwise I'm being a kid and throwing a car together here and there. My first experience mechanically was I wanted to work on airplanes, so I went to the Air Force as a sign for what go in for what you signed for, which was an airplane mechanic, and that was one of the first things that we went through was steps. You have to. It's procedures. You go through the full steps, checking everything, and super interesting. Unfortunately, vision wise, I couldn't do it, so I backed out of it. And then it was just hot rods and bikes, and same thing. Like I like playing with anything. I'm a hot rod guy. I think to heart that would be my direction, but planes are super cool. I mean, if it was something I had the chance to jump into and be in a team like that, man, I'd be all over that.
yeah, the other guys, they were all complaining and bitching. 'Cause you have to get. It's hot. We went in the summer, and it's really hot. So you get up at 1 o'clock in the morning, so you can start working at 2 o'clock in the morning, so you can get your 8 hours in by 9 o'clock. And at 9 o'clock is 100 degrees,
Yeah.
and then at 12 o'clock is 110 degrees. It's hot.
And everything you touch is scalding hot.
Oh my gosh! And then yeah,
So
and then you have to go. Go ahead.
you know who else? Just to bring this up real quick while I'm thinking about it. You know who else, like a prominent figure from the motorcycle industry, has recently changed their direction completely and is into antique aircraft? Remember,
No,
Chris Maida was the editor of American Iron for a long time.
I don't.
Chris. Well, he was like forever. Chris Maida's
Yeah, long
a
time.
good dude,
Yes, he
but
was.
he retired into a place where he's actually working for an aircraft museum. It's like his dream
And he
job.
restores and
Yeah, and
refurbishes
yeah,
and gets
man.
them all flying.
I wonder if he wants that black expedition back. I'll bring it to him.
I should definitely get you hooked up with him though.
Yeah,
And where is he?
Where is his place? I mean, he was originally out of Connecticut, so
Yeah.
it's somewhere. It's
It's
somewhere in the northeast.
Yeah.
You
I don't-
really dig him.
Yeah, and Chris is like super nice guy, super easy guy to get along with. Which would be great.
So now one of your other many talents, because you are extremely diverse in your talents, is your art and your furniture that and a lot of that's made from aircraft parts, correct?
Yes.
That's incredible. Where did you start
Yeah.
that?
My same friend that got me in the airplanes, he gave me a new old stock crankshaft for a Curtiss-Wright 3350 one time. Which is I sent you the picture of the table, which is a big engine. It's an 18 cylinder. It's they used them in B-29 bombers, and they use them in Constellations or Connies, that movie they made with Howard Hughes. They use them in a lot of aircraft. It's pretty much obsolete now. They don't use them a lot now. What they still use is Pratt Whitney's. But anyhow, it's a big crankshaft. It's with brass counterweights, and they weigh 350 pounds, and they're like 30 inches tall. And they came in a big, like a giant toilet paper tube is the best way to explain it. A cardboard tube. And he said, "Here, man, I got these. I don't know. I'll give it to you. Do something with it." So I made a table.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's
Thanks.
absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, I liked it. I made a couple of them. But I'm good at making it. It's hard to find a venue to sell it. I've sold them and I've made good money, really good money on it, but I need to sell one every week, not one every year.
Wouldn't that be
You know.
great?
Well, unfortunately, we couldn't get the picture up here. And if it's all right with you, I'll try and post it later. The piece, and I call it a sculpture. I don't know what you call it, but it was I think it was a propeller that you had painted and pinstriped, and it
Yes,
actually rotated.
dude,
that
that
was
was so
beautiful.
badass.
Yeah, Mo did that. I created it and Mo did the painting for me.
That's beautiful. Like your creativity is incredible.
Thank you. I
No.
like it all. And it took me a long time to sell that. I had that for like a couple of years before I sold it.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, it's for, somebody who's into airplanes and a discerning buyer and that has $1 bazillion because
Yeah. Those are the people I like to sell stuff to.
Yeah, right. A lot of
Yeah.
times they come back too.
Well,
Yeah,
let's.
well, that's the one with in antique motorcycles. There is a lot of people with money in really old motorcycles, so it's a good thing. But it's like when the economy's doing good,
Yeah,
I do good. But when the economy's not doing good, the first thing women tell the guys is sell the motorcycles.
Oh yeah.
Hey, wait, I tell them just build another one. Sorry.
Yeah, well, that's your business, is it?
right.
You guys will put it
Just
on
build
TV and a
another
magazine. You can monetize it.
So let's talk for a minute about you taking your love for antique motorcycles and the culture that goes around it, and bringing that into the modern day motorcycle event, because it's been how many years now that you've been working on True Grit with Daytona?
I don't know. It's probably about 5 years. It's since you guys got me into it with Melissa at the Broken Spoke. It's really become good. But I think it's about 5 or 6 years.
I think even in spite of that, I mean, it's obviously like that venue kicks ass and people have really responded to it. Your show kills at the Spoke, but even right from the onset, man, it was just such a breath of fresh air. You know what I mean? Like the no bullshit way that you were putting it on, and people came out, to kind of pay respect to that idea that you were putting down.
Yeah, well, my whole idea was like other things I didn't like about other shows where you had to sign up and you had to sit around and wait and you couldn't leave or you couldn't come and go. I tried to get rid of all that and make it just, hey, come and bring your old motorcycle and hang out and talk to people that think like you do.
Yeah.
It wasn't so much like I give awards away, but I don't really try to make first, second, or third place. Which is really against like what I think about. I don't really like. In sports nowadays, you get trophies for not doing anything or not winning anything. But I didn't want people. It's hard with those kind of motorcycles. I don't know. I just don't want to. I didn't want to be a judge. That's
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. That's one of the worst things in the world is to actually judge somebody's work, and one of the hardest
I got
things.
suckered.
Yeah,
I
one of the
got
hardest
suckered
things
into
to
that
do
once.
is to tell somebody, you have two bikes that you like, and to find something wrong with the bike that you like to make it second place.
Yeah.
Just
Absolutely.
totally irritates me.
Yeah, I don't really like that at all.
What do you see for the future for True Grit?
Oh, I don't know. It keeps. I look around. I can't believe all these people come. So I have no idea. I just want. I like it. I just want
He
people to
just
come.
wants
And,
to hang out with cool people and cool bikes.
yeah, I just like the gathering. All this in one place. I don't know. I'm really thrilled, and I can't believe that all these people come to this little idea that I had.
It's bitching.
And that's so humbling that you feel that way, because most people are like, "Oh, I'd like to make it so much bigger."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To know that you just love it as much as the majority of the people that show up that want to bring
Yeah.
their bike. Their incentive is to get you to look at their bike. That's pretty cool.
I would like to have it to be like a destination, so like there's not really any place. The reason I do it on that Sunday is because the AMCA antique meet ends on Saturday, so all these people are already in town, and then they have nowhere to camp. So what I'd really like to do is have it be a place where we can have the swap meet and camping, and everybody can just stay there, camp with their motorcycles and the swap meet all in one spot, and you don't have to travel anywhere, because you don't really have that anywhere in Daytona now. I've been talking to Willie about doing it. He's got a nice piece of property. We
Yeah.
haven't got much further than that.
Well, let me know, man. I'm down.
Yeah, we'll help you with
Okay.
whatever you need for that. It's too good not
Now
to.
you know. That's what I want to do.
Okay, so
Like,
go ahead.
I don't want it to be like some other shows, where it gets all fancy and ritzy. I just want it to be like it used to be in the old days,
Yep.
where you just go and camp out and have fires and sell your stuff and
We
go
say
sleep.
that constantly.
Those are our favorite part.
Yep.
If I like, I'd say this all the time. If I never had to go to a big rally again, like Sturgis or Daytona, I wouldn't be heartbroken.
You better shut your mouth.
I mean, if I had my choice, I would go to the old school chill.
If you had to pick one or the
if
other,
I had to pick one
I
or the
get it.
other, yes.
I think it's still it'd be fun if you guys don't have to go and talk to people. You have to make appearances, and that's your business,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what it is, and that's why I try to get away from I just want
So listen, man,
to go around and not be anybody.
I've had some incredible opportunities in my time of being a half-assed motorcycle journalist. I've interviewed guys like Gary Nixon, and I got to interview.
I have one of his motorcycle helmets right here.
Do you really?
Yeah, look, I'll show you. Let me see. I'm just gonna turn around this. My friend gave it to me. He goes, I don't know what this is. And I go, I do. I'll take it.
Wow.
You see it?
Right on. Yeah.
It's all scratched up and everything.
Dude, so the day I got to interview Gary, I was at a local racetrack where they were doing a Triumph Thruxton series, and I saw these two guys that were so far ahead of the rest of the track that it was like they were having their own race. I walked back in the pits, and all the way at the back is the Bartels Harley truck, and it was Jay Springsteen and Gary Nixon racing Triumph Thruxtons in the middle of asshole nowhere, Pennsylvania. It was the greatest day of my fucking life. It was so cool. I spent the whole afternoon talking with them, but I've also got to interview people like the father of Roger, Tommy, and Nikki Hayden, and talking to people who grow up in a motorcycle family. It's always interesting to hear about that stuff. So I would be remiss not to ask you what it was like for you and your brother growing up, because like the Haydens, his father told me they raced everything that they did. If it was eating, peeing, swimming, running, riding bicycles, everything that they did was a race for those three boys growing up.
I didn't. My dad wasn't into motorcycles. He's never had a motorcycle. I wasn't allowed to have a motorcycle.
No, I meant you and your brother.
Was there any competition between you and your brother? I mean, did you guys, or were you more artistic together than more than apart?
No, we think different. We do things different. For a while, in the beginning in Shoppers Inc., we had some same ideas, but then things just he does things his way and I do them mine, and it's just we have differences in the way we do it.
Right on. Right on.
It's fun when we get together and make something, but that doesn't happen that often anymore.
Yeah.
Well, it's always fun. It's fun with him, but it's also fun with anybody that has similar skills and talents and innovative ideas.
Yeah, I think with other people in the room, it actually, like me and Chris, a lot of times when we're in the same shop at the same time, like it helps me do what I'm doing maybe to another level. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, then there's other times he wants to choke the shit
most
out
of the
me.
time. You can always tell whenever he knows I'm mad at him because he cleans the garage.
Yeah. I mean, it's especially fun, like when we were doing the first Sons of Speed race, when there was a bunch of talented people. There was myself and Grimy and Barry and Rick.
That was probably the coolest moment in time that I've ever seen. Watching you guys, man, it was just
all in the shop together.
It was nuts. It was nuts. And then Paul coming in and like scattering his parts all over the floor, and it was great.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's been other occasions when it was like that. Other ones were mostly when we were doing biker build-off TV shows and helping to get things ready at the last minute. A bunch of creative people together. That's fun, but it doesn't happen that long, and you can't deal with those people every day either. It's fun at that moment.
Yeah, that's a tough crew when you have that many minds together like that. They're hard to keep.
I have a hard time with one.
You mean you or Chris?
Chris is the creative one. That's hard enough.
I'm not creative like these cats.
No, it's again the
Well, sure you are.
diversity.
You just do it. You just apply it in a different way.
He is. He cuts himself short. So,
I remember when you had one of those little magazines that was the size of a postcard. Look at you now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
buddy.
sells himself short though between his painting and music.
I'm lucky for motorcycle people, honestly, because I wouldn't have got away with half of this shit in any other business.
None of us would.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
why.
right.
That's why we do it. We're not like other people.
Yeah, and I can say probably some of the most memorable things for me was, especially if flat broke at the shop, the 3 days before Sturgis.
Oh, yeah.
When we're just
Yeah.
starting to build the bike that has to be at the Lichter event. In days when I was at Lead Sled, the 2 or 3 non-stop nights of assembling and finishing and loading and then having to go to the Ville every 15 minutes to have another 5 drinks and then back to building. And, those to me are probably some of the most memorable parts of all of this for me.
Yeah, that's it. Always, you never, no matter how much you plan or how far ahead you think you are,
Oh, dude.
you never ever are ready 3 days before ever. I don't know how that happens, but it just never works.
We normally don't start some of our bikes till 3 days before. So
Yeah,
They're
Well,
usually putting parts on in the lobby of the gallery.
But you know what, man? Like, and I'm sure you can attest to this, Warren. Like, that's the bikes, like the mechanics of it and everything. Like, that's cool. But those stories like that go along with it.
Yeah.
Every time I get on those motorcycles, one of those bikes, I remember every hour, everything that we did, every part that we touched, man.
the
Like
rides to the
that's
events
that's the
and-
greatest thing about building motorcycles.
And I never felt bad about it because, and I'm sure you can attest to this, everybody else was going through it. You were getting phone calls. Hey, man, do you have this? Or I'm stuck. Can you grab me on the way through? Or, that was the camaraderie in this whole thing was probably one of the greatest parts of the whole ride in all reality.
So tell us about we've been watching you build a tank over the social media here and there. Tell us a little bit about your new tank project.
Well, I just I've been making these kind of tanks for a long time. The first one was on El Rey, similar, and back when I make them out of a Jesse James Dillon tank, and there was a time when they were $99. I bought 20 of them for $99, just because I like the parts, and all this time I've only used a few. And then I just finished that black bike, the black shovel head, and it has this tank on it, and the people have been asking me for it. So I've been building a couple. I'm on my second one. I'll get it here. And,
The black shovel that you can actually see on this month's Cycle Source magazine cover.
oh, is it coming out this month?
Yeah, buddy.
Really? All right.
It should
So,
be hitting newsstands anytime.
Here it is. And well, you can see on my Instagram, I've been making it from the beginning to the end. What do you want to know?
I want to know.
This me making a tank. That's when I was younger and seeing guys make stuff. That's something that I was always amazed at. Like, how do you make a gas tank and not make it leak gas? And that was one of my biggest accomplishments for myself. Something that I wanted to do.
That's what I want.
It
That's
took
what I want to ask you. So
It took a while, and I fucked up a lot of shit before I got to here.
just to let you know, me and Chris had that conversation last night.
Yeah.
I finally got to the point through Will Ramsey's help where I'm starting to qualify my weld, and I'm really starting to take more time and pay attention more. But man, the confidence to get through all of that, like most guys that are really making tanks that are doing it like top tier level, don't use any sealer or anything when they're done. Do you use sealer in your tanks?
No, and I don't want to, because if you have a leak later, you can't fix it. If you do, you weld it. The sealer is an envelope. It's a plastic envelope, and if you have a leak and you need to weld it, now you just burnt your envelope inside, so now you got another mess inside the tank you got to deal with.
Yep.
And if you pressure test it enough pressure, and it'll never leak. Like, Harley Davidson tanks don't have sealer in them.
Yes, I know.
You know?
You got to feel really bad. I said the same exact thing last night.
I do feel bad. I know I'm a loser right now.
No, it's kind of like your whoopee. Like
is.
that's what it is for you.
It's just, it's kind of a cop out,
I love
Seal
that
it.
you just said that. You're awesome. Has he seen this yet?
No, wait a minute. Let me go over to Heather for a second. Yeah, buddy.
All right, I'll be getting that soon.
Yep.
Yes, it should be in your mailbox within the next week or so.
Awesome. Thank you.
Go ahead, flip to that center spread. Dude, it came out so good. Thank you so much for that.
Oh, My pleasure. I love that bike.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, man.
Like, I mean, the pictures are great. Missy did a great job, but seeing it in person, it was beautiful. There we go.
Yeah,
Awesome.
great shoot.
I can't wait to see it. Thank you.
Great shoot. Definitely one of the best bikes in Daytona by far.
Thank you. That's my goal. Not to be the best, but just to do the best that I can do.
That's
Well,
all you can do.
Yeah, you've been doing a pretty good job at it for a pretty long time. So
when all this stuff that we're saying here, man, I don't want you to think that we're just blowing smoke up your ass either. I mean, it's today especially, it's so rare to find somebody that's got that thirst for knowledge and is going after things, and they keep setting the bar higher and higher and higher without being a total dick.
Well, he's got
You know what I mean?
humility.
Like, seriously,
Right.
the amount of guys that end up going down this path where they get these great big egos and all of a sudden you can't even talk to them. Like, I can constantly have conversations with you. I can just pick stuff up and say, hey man, like, look, I'm afraid to not put sealer in my tank.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're a dude about it.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I can be a dick, trust me, but it's because you earned it. And I don't want to be it just for no reason. And like the gas tank, I'm showing the gas tank on Instagram, so to inspire other people. Like, if I can do it, you can do it too, and to show them how. Like, some of it I learned from other people or watching, or some of it, most of it I learned by figuring out. A lot of it I learned by messing stuff up. But I want, like other people say, oh, how can you show? Why do you show everybody how to do it? It's like, first of all, there's probably like 10 people that will actually be able to do it. But at least those people have someone to show them how to do it.
right.
And I
Yeah.
want to inspire people to make stuff. Like, this isn't after World War II. There's a whole bunch of people that can make this stuff. They
Yeah.
had the skills, and all those skills don't just need to die away. And people need to have a little bit of guidance, or and so they're gonna try and they're gonna mess it up, but somebody will figure it out.
You know?
Well, and why be greedy with your knowledge? That's how you're going to keep propagating the craft, is to share
Right,
that.
I agree,
Yeah.
and I agree. And then, like you had said before, the bikes. You've done the bikes. To me, the palette's so small. It's been done. It's all been done, and now it's just a point of each builder's artistic ability. Which, obviously, from the cover of the magazine, it's back. Obviously, you still have it. It's never going to go away. But like you had said, to take the next step into airplanes or art, you know what I mean? You want to spread your wings a little bit further and show that you're not just a bike builder. There's more to you than just building bikes, which is
I'm
fantastic.
not really trying to show it to anybody. It's just what I want to do.
There
Right.
you go.
I don't care what anybody else thinks. I just, it's what I want to do.
So,
And I have the opportunity to do it. Fortunately, I have a friend who I developed a relationship with, and I'm going to do it. I was supposed to go right after Bike Week. We were supposed to go to Tucson. I've got 5 aircraft there, 5 cargo aircraft with a ramp door. They're called the Havilland Caribou. They're twin-engine military cargo planes with a ramp door. You can put 2 Jeeps in them.
yeah.
You can fly them with the door open, carry telephone poles and all kinds of different stuff. And it doesn't have a lot of use, but for where I live, you can use it for the Bahamas. There's some other uses, and there's none flying right now. And that's why I wanted to go get those, and then this coronavirus hit, so kind of got stuck. So now I'm supposed to go at the end of June. It was really hot. I'm gonna hate it.
So, dude, Gus wins the comment of the evening here. He says, Greg White says on Instagram, he is so calm making stuff talking about you. I can't make dinner without having to apologize to my family afterwards. So he digs watching your how-to videos is the gist of it.
Good. That's why I don't cook anymore either. My little girl does it. I made her breakfast once, and now I don't have to make breakfast anymore.
She's awesome. Tell her we said hello.
Oh, yeah, man.
She's here watching.
She's great. We love her. And actually, these are pretty big words, too, from James Emmer out of Colorado. He said, Warren makes me want to be a better man. Those are pretty big words to fill.
That's good stuff right there, buddy.
Right on.
Yeah, that's good to hear. I don't. Better welder would be good. Better man. I don't know how I can help you there.
Well, I think people, I mean, between sharing your knowledge and your diversity, but your humility as well,
Yeah.
that's huge for people. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I hope you know how far that goes.
Yeah, it's great
and
to know
learn.
that your abilities are way bigger than your ego, you know?
Yes,
Yeah, it's like
very well said.
fantastic because you're approachable, which, you know, in a person with your history and your talent, a lot of times that isn't approachable.
So how about
Yeah,
COVID? What do you been doing? Let's switch gears with that. What have you been doing to keep from going crazy while all this is happening
does,
around us?
doesn't affect me. Like I live in Miami, and they don't really enforce anything as far as keeping you off the roads, and I work by myself anyhow. So like, there's no reason for I haven't stopped, you know. And I also have a airport ID. It says I'm aircraft mechanic, so I'm essential. It's just I just keep working
Yeah.
and make use of my time. I mean, some things slow down. I had an XR 750 that I was supposed to sell right after I came from Daytona. And that I got messed up on because the guy doesn't want to spend the money now, but he'll get it. He'll spend it later. So I've just been working on my own things. Honestly, I quit. I finished that black bike, and after that, I quit taking work. I'm not taking any more work until I finish some other projects I have in front of me. I'm doing a couple gas tanks because I got to pay the bills. And but I'm finishing my 55 pan head. I want to finish my chopper with the
Nice.
pack candy heads. I took it apart, and I have two knuckleheads I have to do for a customer. I have that three-wheeler knucklehead TA, which
Yeah,
is a pretty
yeah.
rare bike and really cool. And that's almost done.
We're
We
getting
just
some
got
we're getting some motor tech with that, right? We're gonna Isn't that the
yeah.
one that was
Tommy did the motor,
Yeah.
and I think he wrote an article for you. And then I did the frame. I got pictures and videos of it, and but it just got pushed aside because I became a partner with the owner. How I'm doing the work, and he has the motorcycle, so it got pushed aside. But that's gonna be getting finished soon. That's the next thing after my. I'm making room. I'm finishing my 55 FLH now. It's back here.
Is that the one over your shoulder? Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
that's a police bike from Venezuela.
Really?
Yeah, it got smuggled out of Venezuela right before that country blew up. You're
Wow.
not allowed to take anything out of there, but that's what those people over there do is smuggle. So, um, but it was. I just got it running the other day. I had never heard it run before. I mean, it's a pretty cool bike. So
It's funny that you said that thing about nothing's really changed for you because that's, a common question since all this has been going on. We've asked of everybody, and it's funny how many people that are in and around this industry and this lifestyle,
They're like,
they really haven't changed that much. Because
yeah,
other than the
we don't have
times,
push button jobs.
yeah, right,
You know, and I don't think well the laws and rules. I know you guys in Pennsylvania got a little bit rougher. I think that's all unconstitutional and bullshit. Anyhow, I wouldn't stop for nothing.
it's and still even it hasn't changed that much for us. I mean, we come here and do the work we have to do, all inside of our building, and every once in a while we run out to shows and stuff, but it hasn't really changed that much. This is
Hmm.
kind of a solitary lifestyle at times.
Yeah, I think somebody I know the other day. I saw he put a thing on Instagram that all the people who I don't know how he described the other people's jobs, but tradesmen they really haven't stopped.
No.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. We should probably cut you loose because we've monopolized your time here for a good long time. But I sure appreciate you being on with us and the bike for the
I will.
cover, killer. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity, and I appreciate it.
Tell everybody where they can keep up with you and what you're doing, so they don't miss any of the good how-tos. And
On my Instagram, I have a Facebook page too, but I've never been on Facebook one time. My girlfriend manages it, but my Atomic Metalsmith Instagram, Atomic underscore Metalsmith is my Instagram,
there's a
and I
link
don't
in
use
the
it.
comments.
Heather threw up a
Yeah.
link.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely spend some time if you guys are looking for life beyond Netflix right now. Take some time and head over to his Instagram because the amount of stuff that he's passing on there, and just to watch some of it happen. Like I said,
Yeah.
dude, I got such a kick out of watching you fix that kicker cover. That was
Yeah,
awesome.
those I had a stack of them that other people have been asking me to fix, and then Roadside Marty sent me his, so I figured I better get to it.
Right on.
And I never done those before. I just seen how I've seen other ones repaired, and other ones repaired good and bad, and I just figured out how to do it. And then I happened to have the fixtures because I was buying a whole bunch of fixtures from a friend of mine, and he left them here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I really dug how you put that reinforcement in too. That was pretty tight. Pretty cool.
yeah,
Man.
otherwise There's another way to fix it, but it's a lot more complicated, and you have to weld the whole hole up and bore it out. And to be honest, I didn't have the TIG welding cup. You need a real long cup to weld in there. You have to weld the whole hole completely up and then re-drill it.
Yeah.
So you have to find another. There's always more than one way to fix something.
Yep. Yes, sir. All right, man. Well, listen again. Thank you so much for coming on with us, and hopefully we can have you back on here shortly, and when we're all out traveling and enjoying the open air.
Okay, man. All right, thanks, guys.
Okay,
Thanks,
buddy.
Warren.
See you, Warren.
We'll catch
Take
up with
care.
you
Be
soon.
well. All right, thank you.
So good.
He's a cool guy.
Yeah.
So good. What a perfect way to spend a Monday night on Blur's Day.
On Blur's Day.
This
Monday night.
57th of April,
Sunday/Monday.
It's
See, now I can say they're all Mondays
right?
because it's Monday night.
Sometimes don't you feel bad, like
I
when
think-
we're having a conversation with somebody like Warren, you know, we sort of fangirl because cats like him, like I've been watching Warren work for years, and like he's provided so much inspiration over the years that you cannot help but sit there.
I think
and-
we need to go and do a Greasing Gears Garage
Oh,
Road
dude,
show
I would
with Warren.
love to. I would
I
love to.
really do. I think that would be super cool.
Yeah, he's such a badass. OG from the word go,
Yo,
total
definitely.
badass. Yep.
Pretty
Yeah, and
cool.
especially when it comes to like this side of the industry,
No, Jason,
you know,
we are
the-
not.
What?
Does this mean we're having Shop Talk twice a week? No, Jason, but we will have Shop Talk on Sunday nights, and on Thursday night you can come hang out with us at Bike Night Live.
And
oh boy,
this
And-
Saturday, finally,
Oh, boy.
finally this Saturday.
get the checkbook
No,
out.
excuse me, Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah, we have to do it Sunday.
Sunday.
Sunday morning, we're launching Sunday morning swap meets, which will be it's going to be an interesting thing. We got Tim Stahl coming on with us. If you guys are interested, if you're watching this and you're interested in participating in the Sunday morning swap meets, have some parts to sell, have a bike to sell, get a hold of us, cyclesourcemain@comcast.net. We'll get you hooked up and be part of the program. Real quick, I want to remind you guys that we are coming to you live, just like we do normally every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, through the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studios, here with an episode of Shop Talk. 90 to 120 minutes, all the bullshit we can fit, some news, some interviews. Sometimes we actually go somewhere and do something,
Occasionally.
and it's kind
Hopefully.
of cool. But you can do your part if you dig what we're doing here, and you want to help us get out the word and get the news out, keep this thing going. All you have to do is hit the share button. Make sure you set up your alerts up in the top hand corner there, and get notified when we go live so that you know, and you can tell other people, and we can tell two friends, and you can tell two friends. I wish I had that screen set up. See, this would perfect time for like 16 screens of me going.
Oh, yeah, like-
and they tell two.
Yeah, like
and
you
they
really
tell-
need to. No. But no, so anyway, so yeah, you'll actually be able to catch us 3 times a week now, 3 different programs, and maybe a couple more coming at you pretty soon if all things go well and Chris doesn't
It
wring
won't.
his own neck.
It won't be long here till we get back onto our regular programming. We've been hopping around trying to do, stuff to keep everybody entertained. The news for motorcycles is short right now. That's why we had such a good time making fun of everything and everybody during it. But we do have one last piece of news to talk about as far as events that are coming up
Ooh,
that we
I'm excited about
that
this
we're
one.
gonna hit, right?
Yes.
This will be
What?
a tale of two cities.
A Tale of Two. Ooh. The High Seas Rally. So we get to go on a cruise that's themed and geared towards all things motorcycle. We got to go on with our really good friend Xavier Muriel, who is building a custom motorcycle that they're going to be raffling off on board the ship. We're going to be doing like a virtual bike show and mini bike races.
Here, wait a
and
minute. I got
Greasing
all that
Gears
right
Garage.
here.
Oh,
Hey, Chris with Cycle Source Magazine, Greasing Gears Garage, and we're in the shop getting all the bikes ready for the times where we're going to be out on the road the rest of this year. And man, are we stoked to be riding with the guys from the High Seas Rally. Really neat thing that we're doing this year.
How quick I ran out to the
in
shop.
addition to all of the landside events that we'll be doing throughout the year that you guys have come to expect, great events from us like the mini bike race and then the bike shows and everything, we're actually getting on board the High Seas Rally at the end of the year, and we're bringing some of our landside events to the ship. It's going to be amazing, man. Actually doing mini bike racing on the ship. We're going to have Xavier and I do Greasing Gears Garage segments, live demos
on the ship. We're going to teach you guys fabrication. It's going to be a blast. Of course, our virtual bike show. It's going to be awesome. So you want to come hang out with us, take a strange and unusual trip out on the high seas with some pirate biker guys like us. Go check out highseasrally.com. We'll see you there.
So yeah, end of the year is going to be kicking.
I know. I can't wait. I've never been on a cruise.
Mm-hmm. It's awesome. It's awesome. There's
never been.
unlimited pizza,
Oh.
unlimited cheeseburgers. Yeah, I'm looking to pick up 15 quick. Oh shit. All right, man. Well, I guess until next week, we're gonna wrap this one up. We're out of news.
But they can come see us on Thursday night for a Bike
Yes.
Night Live. Oh, we are looking for somebody to share a cool recipe with us, whether it be for pizza, wings, tacos, your favorite kind of quick and easy food. Missy did her witchy wings last week, which were phenomenal. So if you have something like that you'd like to share, if you want to come on and be a musical guest, send us a DM at a Cycle Source Facebook page, and hopefully we'll see you on Thursday. And then buy some stuff on Sunday.
Tell them how they have to show the recipe, though. You have to actually.
Oh, you have to do it like a little cooking show.
Yep.
You got to make it good. And you
Today
gotta
Show.
participate.
You've seen the Today Show, right? Come on, play along.
You have 20 seconds. Make a dinner.
20 seconds. Make a 7-course meal.
All right, man. Well, listen, I want to thank you guys one more time for supporting Shop Talk, letting us into your headspace, into your living rooms, helping you take a break from COVID. It helps us take a break, too. Thank you for being patient while we get our new system in order. And I see Chris Snow is helping out again, telling us there was a little bit of echo while the video was going on. We'll look into that, Chris, but thank you. Next week, we're going to move back to our regular scheduled time for Shop Talk, which is Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, through the courtesy of the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio. We'll be coming up with another 90 to 120 minutes, all the bullshit we can fit. Crew?
Yes.
Crew?
Are we out?
You got anything else?
Yeah, forget you.
All right.
You can't come anyway.
So till next time, same chopper time.
Same chopper channel.
Aw. Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia.